Hello, I'm Dominic Walker, JMW's Inside Man, and for this very special edition of the Inside Man, my guest is Nadia Kerr, Head of Cycling Litigation at JMW Solicitors, and the team is called Twisted Spoke. So, Nadia, why do you feel innovation is important to the highway network?
Well, well-maintained highways make travel safer. And importantly, if we are to tackle climate change, congestion, air pollution and inactivity issues, then good and well-maintained infrastructure makes active travel much more appealing. We need a better road network. We need a safer environment just for moving about. We need change for that to happen. I act for injured cyclists and other vulnerable road users as well. And one of the very many reasons why clients come to me is that they've been involved in incidents on the road that have arisen from infrastructure problems, such as potholes. What I see in those cases is that risk assessments that are conducted by highways inspectors for the local authority judge the standard of the roads by reference to what they see, I believe, is the priority, which is vehicles and vehicle drivers. And what might be a defect on the road that causes a problem for, say, an alloy wheel, it causes a puncture, it might cause suspension damage to a car. And as annoying and as expensive as that may be, we have to think about what potentially does that cause to two-wheeled road users, cyclists, e-scooter riders, moped riders, motorbike riders as well. What can happen there is serious injuries if somebody hits a pothole and comes off their vehicle, potentially into collision with other vehicles on the road as well. And, what we see is very serious, catastrophic injuries sometimes, and even fatalities. So what we need to see is change in installation methods and installation products, a better system of inspection and reporting, and also then a very good quality standard of repairs or resurfacing if the road is just beyond its lifespan.
Nadia, can you give an example of innovation within the industry and how it's helped?
One of the areas that impacts on the work that I've done is the reporting of potholes. So the mechanism of that used to be really quite time-consuming, cumbersome and unreliable. Members of the public could telephone in to a local authority and report a defect and try and describe in their best words where it was. And then there was always the problem of producing a photograph to accompany that report. Some people would write letters into the council, which is inevitably causing delay. Local authorities introduced web portals for members of the public to report potholes, but they differed, and it wasn't always clear to a member of the public which local authority area a defect might be sitting in. So what was introduced was smartphone apps, which make the process of reporting a whole lot easier. And for many, it's the difference between reporting a pothole or not. So a couple of examples are Fill That Hole and Fix My Street. So it's an app that you download to your phone. You can stop off at a defect on the road, take a photograph of it, and the coordinates of that are automatically attached to that image that's uploaded to the app, so that the location is readily available. And then you have a narrative box as well that just allows you to freestyle your words to describe the hazard. So, as I say, for many people, that's the difference between reporting or not, because it's all done in literally a few minutes, and the report's gone through to the provider of the app and in turn, hopefully, to the local authority. Without reports from members of the public, evidence in the cases that I deal with can be really quite scarce. Local authorities will also only be able to rely on their scheduled inspections for roads, which might be once, twice, 3 times or so per year, depending on the nature of the road and its usage. So reports from the public really help. They supplement the evidence and the reports that the council can glean from their own scheduled inspections, and it enables all of us to contribute to a public service really, and a safety issue here, to try and help the local authorities pinpoint where they're going to use their resources to repair those most significant potholes. The roads are a mess. We need a long-term funding solution to this, because I have every sympathy with the local authorities who've experienced years and years and years of under-resourcing. But we need to rely on innovation to try and help us get to a better state. None of this, of course, is of any comfort to an injured cyclist who comes to me with the only recourse available, which is a compensation check. They'd prefer not to be injured. I'd prefer them not to be injured. What I want to do is help make a change and appeal to people, to members of the public, to report potholes and defects on the road to help the local authority target where they're going to spend the money. I do think that there is a next series, a next iteration of the smartphone app for reporting potholes, because in response, I think, to an increased number of potholes being reported, some local authorities have taken the decision not to accept pothole and defect reports from these smartphone apps. I don't think that's the solution at all, because members of the public are trying to help and trying to get those defects repaired. So I think some sort of consolidating app, which means that a local authority can receive information from whichever source that member of the public wants to convey that there's a problem, should be introduced so that local authorities can work with all of the information. So people can report them by email, phone, letter, web portal, Twitter if they want to, or use a smartphone app. Any way that they feel is best for them to report a problem before an injury happens.
Nadia, thank you so much for your insight. And if you'd like to contact Nadia directly, you can email insideman@jmw.co.uk or call 0161 82 81 999.